What kind of things do you think would tempt even God? It seems like a weird question to ask, but the people who knew Jesus personally insist that he was tempted. There were things that truly threatened to pull his life off course, to derail his rescue mission before it even started. Anything that tempted Jesus is probably worth the rest of us watching out for. One thing Luke assumes about the world, and something Jesus himself teaches, is that planet Earth is currently a conflict zone. The God who created this world and loves it is working to heal all of its broken pieces. But God also has opposition. There are forces that take pleasure in wrecking whatever God builds. Evil is like a malicious toddler. The higher the tower of goodness, the more joy evil finds in smashing it. And Jesus is as good as it gets, so you can bet that evil will come gunning for him. But what could anyone possibly do to throw Jesus off his life's mission? Evil comes up with three plays that are the best things in its arsenal. And you can tell how brilliant the plays are by the fact that most of us, at first glance, don't even think they look like trouble. The first play from God's opposition is to challenge Jesus to turn a stone into a crusty little loaf of sourdough. No question, this is a strange temptation. With all the problems in the world, it doesn't seem to me like making bread even breaks the top 500. Also, Jesus hasn't eaten in weeks. I don't think any reasonable person would begrudge him a snack. And I've never heard of any kind of religious rule against stone sandwiches. But I suppose the obvious problems aren't the ones that we need Jesus' help to see. There's absolutely no problem with eating when you're hungry. In fact, some of Jesus' most famous miracles involve producing huge quantities of bread to feed the hangry people who showed up to hear him preach. When Jesus' followers ask him to teach them how to pray, he gives them a model prayer to practice with. And one of the lines of that prayer actually says, "God, give us this day our daily bread." Bread has served a particular role in the ancient world. It was the staple dish. They didn't know about drive-through tacos yet. Bread represented the most basic things that human beings need to survive. And many times in his teachings, Jesus will talk about God's care for people who are hungry. He'll even say that feeding other hungry people is one of the best ways we can show our devotion to God. I think it would be fair to place Jesus solidly in the pro-bread camp, but there does seem to be a specific bread-based problem that evil is seeking to exploit. The problem appears to be our excessive preoccupation with it, with thinking about when we'll have our next bread, with worrying about where we'll get more bread, with building up stockpiles of bread in case of a rainy day, with protecting our personal bread supply from the greedy bread lovers next door. Jesus lived in a time when, by and large, people had far less stuff than most of us today do. But apparently this bread obsession problem can afflict anyone, rich or poor. No matter how much we have or don't have, our whole lives can become an endless bread quest. The desire for more or the fear of not having enough can end up consuming every ounce of our attention and imagination. I suspect there's a reason evil tries this temptation first. It's because, for most of us, it usually works. Derailing us from our purpose doesn't take any more than keeping us hungry. We're scared of someday maybe being hungry. We'll spend our whole lives trying to squeeze bread from rocks and never get around to asking what else we were made for. Jesus' response to this temptation is wise. He doesn't say, "I hate bread. Bread is disgusting. Down with bread forever." He doesn't even say, "I can live without bread just fine." What Jesus says is, "I see through these distraction tactics, devil. I know that life is about more than just surviving." There was a point in my own life when I began to notice something. The biggest things getting in the way of me living a life of courage and purpose weren't big things at all. They were my love of iced coffee, my fear of unexpected medical bills, my desire for covered parking for my car. I would never have said I would trade my purpose for these things, yet I was making that choice again and again, day after day. I was so focused on making bread and so anxious about running short of it that I'd stopped asking what my life had been given to me for. Your needs are never a matter of indifference to God. God cares about our hungers, but living is also more than just surviving. We were all made for more than bread alone. So whatever you do, don't trade your mission for just another meal. Let's read the story in Luke 4, verses 1 to 4. Then Jesus, full of the Holy Spirit, returned from the Jordan River. He was led by the Spirit into the wilderness, where he was tempted by the devil for 40 days. Jesus ate nothing all that time and became very hungry. Then the devil said to him, "If you are the Son of God, tell the stone to become a loaf of bread." But Jesus told him, no, the scriptures say, people do not live by bread alone. I'm Megan Larissa Good, and this is Reading Jesus. Thanks for joining us today. If you'd like to join me in conversation, you can go to patreon.com/Jesus Collective Community and look for the Luke 4 post. I'll see you next time.